lights are on, does that mean we're live?
Kendall's here, right?
She's in the building.
Okay.
Do you need her to get started?
I can certainly get started without her.
Okay. Revised and updated policies, Ms. Stone?
Last week, Kendall McPeak and I brought before you the policies that we were looking for approval that are under the purview of the Health and Human Services Department. And we provided you a notebook that had them in, and with the conversation last week, there were a list of different policies that you wanted us to make some changes, so that's what I've come back with and should be part of your packet today. Kendall and I provided you a summary of the policies in the form of summary health and human service policies, and this goes through the changes that we made. You also have the actual policies and the changes that were made in the policy. Let me go down on the summary sheet and go through firstly, the new policies that are needing to be adopted. Under the leave policy, we changed we were coming in to say that the personal leave would be taken in 1 hour increments. We have come back to say that we have changed that back to whole days, and 8 hour whole days for whatever the hours are that person works that day. So it would be a full day rather than using hour increments like we can do with our vacation. Under the tobacco-free campus, I'd like to talk a little bit more in detail about that, but we made some changes that would include that the Ag Center is exempt because of they do have some facility, different kinds of things that go on out there that we didn't feel like that was something that we should say tobacco-free. And we also had talked about Black Rock. The other thing is we would like to ask for an exempt for the transit center. As it was pointed out to me, that would be very, very hard to police. Under the anti-discrimination PR 37 and complaint, I'm sorry.
You also made a change to not assign the director of public works, correct? For assignment of the smoke-free locations. You removed that language, did you not?
With the approval. Yeah, I thought we did. Well,
It's been deleted.
it has been deleted, right? Okay.
In the draft of the policy, at the bottom of the first.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, there's a deleted.
Deleted on the actual policy, C, 4C, we deleted the director of each campus, facility, or property subject to this policy, and will establish designated tobacco use areas. Well, we deleted all of that had to do with designated areas for the director of public works or any of those facility, whoever's in charge of that facility. Thanks, Kendall. Under cell phone use during board meetings, we clarified how cell phones may be used in certain areas and added with express exceptions for use of cell phones to take photos and check business and emergency-related electronic communications at your request.
Yeah, that's a good, because you guys have major businesses going and stuck in here 6 or 8 hours. And I saw today our staff already put photos of these events online, so if we do want photos, they're available anyway. But I know with my dad, just like a few minutes ago, I just called to check in because no one's been there to see him today, but he's okay. But there's certain cases which we need to have that ability. Is that all right with my fellow commissioners? Yep. For your business and the way described?
Giving us some both, I guess the only, I like the language, and I think that probably the time that we should be really turning off and laying down is during short executive session. I'm talking about closed session.
Mm-hmm.
When we have matters that we agree upon, it should not be, if we can't leave these alone, when everybody has cleared the room and we're talking about matters that are in closed session. I think that would be agreeable to me. But maybe we can just police that on our own, right?
I would hope,
Yes.
I would hope so.
All right, on that, just,
Okay.
But you're okay with that language? Okay. The next policy that we made some changes to was the PR 13 anti-harassment and complaint procedure. We established steps in the complaint procedure and identified the receiver of the initial complaints. And I believe in the policy that stated that what we had just been talking about is that it would go to the county attorney for any of these complaints.
Back to the cell phone. So we're only going to be, so what are we actually doing there on the cell phone? So we're going to, you'll be able to look at your phone or,
Correct. We've made the exceptions that for use of cell phones to take photos and check business and emergency-related electronic communications.
I've had just today, sitting here during this meeting, we had the weather outside. And this is not obviously something I wanted printed in paper, okay? But we've had the weather outside, and I've had to give a decision to leave a job site that I told them not to leave because of the weather.
Mhm.
But with the pouring down rain, it made no sense in staying there. And I was very insistent on them staying around. I would hate to think that they stayed there all day and I paid these 6 or 8 people
Sure.
to stay on a job that I ultimately took that decision on my own to
Right.
make. That's probably as part of, you know.
And you're running a
Yeah.
business, you need to be able to do that.
Yes, yeah, some things that you just need
Mhm.
our attention.
okay.
Yes.
And you'll be there, you'll be able to take pictures, you'll be able to do those same things that you were doing. Okay. In the violence in the workplace, we established a complaint procedure again and generally identified who the receiver of the initial complaint would be, and that will be the county attorney. That was the change on that. As we move down, PR 26 whistleblower policy, we clarified the complaint procedure again. That generally identifies the receiver of the initial complaint. That will be the county attorney again. And okay. I just talked about that, didn't I? The violence in the workplace. Again, we just clarified who would receive the complaints. That would be the county attorney. So I believe those are the major changes we made since last week, and certainly would be glad to talk about anything else that you may have come up with.
Okay, any questions, comments, thoughts?
this is just for policies, not any reorganization of duties other than the reporting of complaints.
Correct.
Okay, they are looking for a motion to approve EBPR RMS. But go ahead.
Before we go that
far, if that's okay. I know you, Stephanie, and Kendall, and others have spent a long time putting these together. And I really appreciate you getting the binders to us a couple weeks ahead of time. There's a lot of material here, and I'm still going through it myself, and how it was presented to us didn't necessarily have something to look at what it was before versus now. And as I'm coming to things, like I was in Kendall's office this morning for a while reviewing a few things, and I would like to see if maybe we can, not that we're pushing back in any way, delaying this, but we're changing, we're updating a lot of our policies. All of our policies are being reviewed, at least. I just want to make sure we get them right the first time.
You want to wait a week or so?
If that's okay, I'm still perusing through them. I think there's important material here.
Well, I agree, because I've been reading them, watching TV and stuff at the house, trying to go through them back and forth, so I would support you.
Would you like staff to bring them back next week? Okay, we'll do that.
It is a lot to read.
We won't be here.
So at this
We
point, are
have-
there any other changes?
It's not that, yeah, it's not that I want changes being made right now, but I still need time to review them.
Okay.
And,
Kate, one of you, it's a nice Thursday to extend to you.
And if, if you guys need any additional time beyond next week, just tell them, that way they won't have to put it on the agenda.
Okay.
It's nothing.
Okay, so,
Okay.
matter of fact, we'll let her know when we want it on the agenda.
Pardon me?
Or let Rob. We'll let Rob know when we think we're ready to have it put back on the agenda. Is that fair?
For the policies,
Policies.
there's various payroll and other aspects that are required to be met with these current policies, reporting and so forth, correct?
Correct.
So,
I mean, we're holding up payroll.
with the new payroll system, there's some policy changes.
Well, a couple of those we have moved back on. So I don't know that, in all honesty, any of these are I mean, some of these are including different things that we're doing with the new Oracle payroll. So that's one of the issues of why we brought it. The other issue is there were some major policies that we wanted to get moving so that I can start training and some other situations, you know, and address what had come up from some of our investigation.
Well, we'll talk to Rob this week and we'll know what to do. Okay, next. IT reclassification, organization realignment. Duties, Mr. Witt, how are you today? Good afternoon.
Just a brief, just want you to be aware that, and make a comment that this is not a complete reorganization of the IS division. It is only focused on addressing a long-term vacancy. And probably some of you are aware that some of my staff are unhappy about some of these proposed changes that I'm making. But I think they would be, hopefully, their satisfaction will be satisfied when the salary study is concluded. To give you some history, last November, I rearranged and reshuffled some responsibilities and duties to cover a tech support 2 analyst position, a grade 13 that left the office and went work for another department in Washington County. At that time, I moved a software support member into the infrastructure and operations side of the house at the request of the deputy director. The 3 remaining folks that were in the software support staff members indicated to me at that time that they would be willing to cover the gap. And in order for me to determine what would be required for us to address our business needs as we move forward, moving into these cloud-based applications, and particularly the Oracle system, which we've currently moved to the financials, and we're currently migrating, doing the budgeting, both CIP and operational, and payroll systems. Over the last 11 months, and now it's almost a year now, I feel that the best option moving forward is to transition the vacancy and hire an IT training specialist, and with the rearrange and reassign duties remaining with those staff members to include additional duties and responsibilities that are created by our migration to these cloud-based systems. The 5 proposed adjustments represent 5 staff members that I took into consideration, and also provides, these proposals provide increased customer service by additionally providing a focused and continuous technical training program which complements our recently implemented ticketing and tracking system, which all parties are in the loop on. The pros of adjustments also provide for a symbiotic relationship between the technology implementation side of the house and our end-user community, where training, we haven't put our best foot forward in training and keep our end users trained, but with the cloud-based systems, we have to do a better job because the enhancements automatically are provided by the vendor in the cloud. So looking forward, this is an equally important evolution of the technology here in Washington County. So, any questions?
Any questions, comments, thoughts? If none, need a motion.
So moved.
Have a motion, a second for the recommendation. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 4-1. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I think I've covered everything on the agenda. If there's nothing else, motion to adjourn. Motion a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.